Hello and welcome to episode 211 of my podcast all about knitting and crochet and my yarn shop here in Wiesbaden, Germany. I'm Kiko and today is December 4th. And just a short word of explanation, if my voice sounds a bit funny today, it's because I still have a bit of a cold. I was home most of last week with a cold, which is the reason for some of the knitting, crafting decisions I made last week. But it also gave me quite some time to work on things. But anyway, just wanted to apologize for the sound of my voice today and for the fact that I may be not quite as concentrated as usual. But we'll see how I get through this. Now to what I'm wearing. I am wearing 3 things that I'm wearing for the first time on the video, and 2 of which I may be wearing for the only time. But I'll explain that in a minute. I'll start with the hatband I'm wearing. It's the alpaca hatband that I showed, I think, 2 episodes ago. I knit that to try out the crochet chain cast on to determine the size of my head. As I said, it's a bit tight, so the pattern gets pulled out a bit. Don't know how to say that. So it's stretched out, that's the word. Gets stretched out a bit, but I don't think it's too bad. And the inside of the hatband is pure black, so maybe I'll wear that at some point just with the black side outside. But because I'm dressed all in black and grey, I thought it'd be a nice addition and it just keep me warmer while I do the recordings. So that's that. The pattern is from the book Knittivation, which is a new book that I like a lot. Alpaca yarn by Hansa Farm. Their baby alpaca DK. And everything I'm wearing, I just realized, is by Hansa Farm today. So this could be sponsored by Hansa Farm. It's not. Anyway, the little collar that I'm wearing is from a book called Vintage Häkeln, which means vintage crochet, and it's a Japanese crochet book that's been translated into German. Don't know if there's an English version. I'll link whatever I find underneath the video. And I've wanted to crochet that for a long time and never got around to doing that, but then this year I finally managed to crochet it, and I use the Alpaka Royal. It's the softest alpaca that Hansa Farm sell, and I think it's the first. Is it the first item I made from the yarn? I don't know, but I only ordered 2 color just to try it out, and it's fantastic. It's so soft and it's so wonderful. And I think because it's so soft, this part that's sort of supposed to stand up, it doesn't. It just flops down because this yarn is so soft. So this collar is crocheted in such a way that you start with a fairly simple small scarf. So basically this is a small scarf. I could, if I straighten it, this is what it looks like. And then once you finish the small scarf in the middle, then you do this edging, this big edging on 3 sides of the scarf, and then you just add a few more rounds around the whole scarf, and then that's how you get this collar. And I really like it. It's just a nice little piece, and I may be giving this away for Christmas. So that's why I may be only wearing it once on the video. So this is an idea. But I thought I can wear it once on the video and still give it away. And I'll just leave it off for a moment to show the pullover. This is the first cashmere pullover that I ever knit. So this is Hansa Farm's cashmere. And when I started knitting it, I wanted to knit it for myself. But then the neckline ended up being really wide. It's hard to tell because I'm wearing a black shirt underneath, but I think you can see the line here. And I'm not such a fan of big necklines, but my sister really likes them. So, and she was happy with the front and back. Or did I knit it to her size? I don't know. I know that I knit the sleeves longer than I need them because her arms are longer than mine. But I knit a really long cuff. So if I want to wear the pullover, I can fold it up. My sister told me that it's okay for me to wear the pullover until I've finished knitting mine. And so far I haven't even started knitting mine. So this, kind of I will have to start it before I can finish this. That's what I'm trying to say. The pattern is from the book Art of Circular Yokes, which is a beautiful book. This is the second pullover I've knit from the book, and I may be knitting more of them. Yeah, just one more word about the collar. If I pull the string to wear it as a collar instead of a little scarf, I love these little flowers at the end of the string. It's these little touches that Japanese designers are very good at, and that I really like. I think I'll leave it like a scarf. You can see a little bit of the pullover. Okay, so much for what I'm wearing. I have 2 finished objects today, and this time they're actually finished objects. There are 2 objects on Ravelry that I could put as finished, and the older one is my V-back tee. So I finished knitting the second sleeve. I'm really happy with the way it looks so far. I finished knitting everything. I've woven in all the ends, but I did not wash and block it. I just wanted to show it to you once more, just in the finished state without the blocking, especially because of this side. So this side looks really weird. You can see that it's quite a bit shorter than the back. The V neck looks quite nice, but there's also a lot of fabric around here and also around here. It sort of looks as if there was a bulge or something like that. So I think blocking will be really, really important for this pullover. And I've looked at some pictures today, and I've seen that with some of the pullovers, even after they are blocked, they sort of have this happening on the V neck side. So I'll see how it works out with mine. I'll make sure to really block it very severely, and I will definitely wear it next week. I will definitely wear a long sleeve and high neck, something underneath, because it's fairly cold at the moment here in Germany, and then I'll wear a warm scarf or something, or a shawl. Yeah, but I do want to show it to you next week, not only the way it looks after it's been washed and blocked, but also what it looks like on me. I'm really excited to see how it looks on me. So as I said, this is the V-back tee by Jamie Hoffman, also known as Knitosophy Designs. There are, I think, 3 different V-back tees that you can get. One is for DK weight, and I forgot what the third one was. If you buy all 3, you get a good deal. I have at least 2 of them. I'm not quite sure whether I have the third one. Maybe that's the reason I don't remember what it is, because I don't have it. But yeah, the pattern is written very clearly. You can use 3 colors the way I did. I used 3 different glitter yarns by Opal, this color, and the dark one. And it tells you how to fade the colors, and you can use 4 colors or 5 colors, or you can do it in just 1 or 2 colors. So it's a very versatile pattern, and you can knit lots of different pullovers. The original has short sleeves, but I just lengthened them. That's not a big problem. Okay, so that's finished object number 1, and then finished object number 2 was a new cast on last week, and it's the Maximalist square by Faye from Yuki Knits. This was a test knit or preview knit of her pattern. It has not been published yet, but as soon as it's published, there will be a link on my Ravelry page to link to her pattern if you want to get it. For the test, I was only required to knit 1 of the squares, but the pattern itself will be for blankets. You can do different sizes of blankets depending on how many squares you knit. The pattern is written for a DK weight yarn, and I chose a fingering weight yarn because I wanted to knit these colors. So my square is smaller than the ones that you get if you use the original yarn or the proper yarn weight, meaning you get a bit bigger square, so you don't have to knit quite as many squares to do a blanket. At first I thought of knitting 4 of them and making a cushion cover. I may do that at some point because I really like the pattern. I think it looks really nice. But right now it's just, I'm just too busy. I don't have the can't say I don't have the time. I just don't feel like doing it right now. If I knit more of them, I might change the pattern in the last color just to make it a bit simpler and a bit quicker to knit. But yeah, especially the first two colors, I just love the pattern. Yeah, so as I said, maximalist knitted square that looks a little bit like crochet. I'm sure you can make beautiful blankets with that pattern. And if I remember, I'll let you know once it's been published. Otherwise, you can just check my project page. So that's the finished objects. Then on to works in progress. I managed to finish the first of my squiggly, not quite so mad socks from my sock couple. So these are his socks, and I finished one. It just has the one contrast color stripe running down the sides from the Squiggly Madness pattern, and I sort of did the toe as in the pattern, just without the stripes, and really happy with how that came out. I only just started the second sock, knitted the cuff, and then got the pattern going with the two contrast stripes. So I have this opal rainforest color and two of the contrast color balls hanging on the sock. So this one, you're supposed to do little like butterflies, little mini skeins of yarn for the contrast color stripes. But with the first sock, I had one of these balls hanging on them, the one which I used to do the cuff, and for the other one I wound it, but then I ran out of yarn about here, so I had to attach a new yarn. I had to weave in two more ends, and as I only have those leftover yarns anyway, I decided to just leave them on the sock, and it's not too difficult to manage. And then I definitely won't run out of yarn for the stripes, and then for the toe I should have enough taking them both together, and if I'm lucky I can knit the toe with just one of the balls. We'll see. That's it for socks for right now. I continued knitting on the fingerless mitts that I'm knitting as part of the pattern battle, where we all knit with the same color opal abo, opal subscription yarn. So this is the one that we're doing right now. I finished the first fingerless mitt using these color beads, and I did quite a bit on the second one with this color bead. So they're quite different, but I think both colors go really well with the yarn. I finished knitting the hand bit and the thumb increases, so I put the thumb stitches aside, and now I need to knit this upper bit of the mitt, and yeah, I might be able to finish that before the next pattern battle starts, because the next subscription parcel is coming. I'm not quite sure whether it's next week or the week after, but I think it's end of next week. So and then we get the parcel, and then we have to decide. So out of the 6 colors, 3 are put up for a vote, and then we have to vote. And then once the pattern, once the color is decided, then we can start putting down the patterns we want to knit. So it takes a bit of time for the pattern battle to actually start, and I think it's quite reasonable to think that I will have that finished by then. So, and then after I cast on so many new things last week, I sort of thought I won't cast on so many new things for a while, but I completely forgot that last week included the 1st of December, which means that all sorts of Adventy things and Christmassy things start happening. And I had, of course, bought the pattern for the mystery gnome that Sarah Shearer is always doing in December. And there's another Adventy thing that I started to do. So I actually have 2 new cast-ons, but I finished 2 projects, so that's not too bad. Yeah, but let's start with the Snow Matter What. That's this year's Mystery Gnome by Sarah Shearer. That's the pattern name, Snow Matter What. We know it's going to be a gnome, like those two gnomes over there. But we don't know what it's going to look like. And with all the mystery gnomes that Sarah is designing, she tries to come up with as many mystery pieces as possible so that we don't know what we are knitting. And this year we were asked to have 4 colors ready, and I didn't bring the yarns themselves because I already knit something with each of the colors. So I'm going to show the pieces, and with them I'm going to show you the yarn that I used. As I said, I was home most of last week, so I again chose yarn that I had in my stash. And the first color is supposed to be dark, so I chose black. This is Opal, just simple black yarn, and this is what we knit. In case you haven't looked at it yet and you want to be surprised, then you have to look away for the next couple of minutes. But this is the black. These are the black pieces that we knit so far. Don't ask me what they are. Then the next color is supposed to be light or white, and I went for a white. And we knit this funny thing. This is again Opal solid color yarn. And then for color 3, she said it would be best to choose some sort of orange. So in my stash, I still have 3 colors of Regia hand dye effect yarn. I knit a shawl and I think a few other things many years ago, but I still have those 3 colors. And one of them is sort of a mix of orange and pink colors, but I thought it's orange enough to work as an orange color. And this is what we knit with it. I think this was actually the first bit that we knit. No idea what it is. And then the other 2 colors I have of the hand dye effect, one is a very dark blue and green and purple, which is beautiful. And the other one is a light bluish green turquoisey color. It's quite light, but it's very nice. And color 4 is supposed to be our favorite color. So I chose this light color. I think I probably like the darker color better, but I thought there would be too little contrast between the black and the dark. And I really do like this color too. So I chose this as my favorite color. This is the piece that we knit, whatever it is. And yeah, I'm not showing anything anymore in case you were looking away. So far, lots of mystery pieces. At some point, we're probably going to knit something that looks like a hat or like a body. But she usually keeps the mystery up until the last 1 or 2 days when we start putting things together and then we find out what things are. Yeah, so that's one of the new cast-ons. You can still join the knit along if you want to. You haven't missed a lot. In case you looked, you know what you have to do to catch up. And it's not knitting every day. Some days it's just a bit of a story or a recipe or some other funny thing. So yeah, it's a lot of joy, a lot of fun. The other thing that I started knitting is the Advent calendar that Arnie and Carlos are publishing this year, and it's going to be a stocking. It's like one of these big socks that you can hang on your fireplace if you have a fireplace that you can hang things on. And I've never made one of those, and I've always wanted to do that and never got round to doing it. I know that Yuki Knits has beautiful patterns for those, but as I said, I never got round to doing it. And then when I heard that Arnie and Carlos are doing a knit along for them, I thought that sounds like a really good idea. And again, I was at home, so I had to pick some yarn that I had at home. And the original colors for the pattern are green, red, and white, so very typical Christmas colors. And they also call for a DK weight yarn. And I looked through my stash, and I hardly ever have green. I don't really use proper greens a lot. But I found this DK weight sock yarn by Wollerödel, the company I used to work for. I knit a skirt out of that yarn years ago, and I still had that ball lying around. And I also have this very old opal yarn, which is... it's just very slightly variegated. So for opal yarn, fairly quiet. I had at least 2 balls of that, and I remember I did some slippers a couple of years back. I think a pair for myself and a pair or 2 pairs that I gave away. Romance was the name of the series. And then my sister brought me some white yarn. This is Opal DK weight sock yarn that she brought me. So I had 3 colors. So instead of the green, red and white, the white's the only color that I did the same. And I decided the dark blue is going to be the green and the colorful blue is going to be the red. And the way the knit along works is you were supposed to knit the toe before December, and then every day we're supposed to knit 6 rounds. So that's not too bad. I thought you can knit 6 rounds a day. And then the only exception, I think days 8 and 9, we do half a heel each day. Yeah, and you can still join that too. So it's, at the moment it's free. You can find the pattern on the blog by Arnie and Carlos. They do a video every day to explain what we're doing and to just talk about Christmassy things and whatever. And I'm going to show it now, just in case you don't want to look. This is what I have so far. So I did the blue, dark blue toe, and then the 2 other colors came in. And so far it looks like a really nice pattern. And then it went back to the dark blue. And the pattern always comes out at 6 o'clock in the evening. So tonight I can add another 6 rounds to that. And then we'll see what it looks like next week. Let me just check. It's the 11th next week. So I'll have done the heel by then. And we'll know more of the pattern. Yeah, so that was my second new cast on Advent Calendar 2023 by Arnie and Carlos, in case you want to join in. Now back to some old patterns that you already know. And I actually continued knitting on the Geogradient shawl. And I just realized it's a project that works perfectly with what I'm wearing today. It looks as if I was a big fan of black and grey. Well, I actually do like black and grey, especially because you can wear colourful things with it. Normally. Yeah, so I had finished one part of clue 3, and I've now finished the other half of clue 3. And when I finished knitting that, I was really, I think it was this bit. I think this was the second side I knit, and I was very enthusiastic, and I started weaving in all the ends, and I'm really happy that I did that, and then wove in all the ends of the middle. So I don't snip them too close before I've blocked it, so that's why you can still see them hanging around, but they are all woven in. And then I got to this bit, and I just... my enthusiasm was gone. So you can see I started here. So these are woven in, and then I just got tired, and I was ill, so it's okay not to go on. I did sleep a lot last week and spent a lot of time resting, but then at some point I just couldn't lie anymore. My back was hurting, so I had to sit, and I was watching films a lot, and then I like to knit a little bit or weave in some ends. But then if I need a break, I take a break, so that's fine. Yeah, really happy. I got clue 3 done, and now I'm looking forward. I'm not quite sure if I'm looking forward to, but I do want to finish it. So yeah, I look forward to finishing this, and that means I will have to tackle clue 4, which means picking up a gazillion stitches. We'll see how that works. So that's that. Then I finished the second of my arm warmers. These are not wrist warmers, these are arm warmers. My friend knit part of both of them. One she knit quite a bit, and one she only had started. And then I finished both of them to the length that I wanted them to be. And I am knitting a slip over or sleeveless pullover, something like that, out of the same yarn, which is last year's colorway in the 8-ply. And had I cast on the stitches last week? Maybe. I think I had. I don't know. But I finished the ribbing. And as I said, there's a German video to show how this is worked. It's very simple. You just figure out your number of stitches, do a bit of ribbing, then you're supposed to do lots and you're supposed to knit stockinette until you get to the armhole. Then you split the pieces for front and back, and you go back to the ribbing, cast off, seam the shoulders, done. So very simple. And I'm basically going to follow that instructions, except for the bit that I did down here. Once I finish the ribbing, I put in some short rows. So this is the front of the slip over. So I added a few rounds of stockinette after I did the short rows, but you can see that the back of the slip over, so this is my stitch marker, this is the middle of the back. This is quite a bit deeper, and I think from the stripes you can see this is where the short rows were, and this is the bit that I've already knit on top. And I just wanted the back to be deeper, to be lower than the front. So I'm still not quite sure how long the whole thing is supposed to be. I do want it fairly long to really cover my back and my bum. But I didn't want it quite as long in the front. So I'll just keep knitting for a while. And then when I think it might be okay, I'll just keep trying it on. I love trying on my things as I knit to get them to be as close to what I want as possible. So that's that. And what else have I got? Yeah, I continue knitting on the summer pullover, the summer top that I'm knitting out of this beautiful turquoisey wool, silk and cotton yarn. And this is the pattern where I knit this beautiful yoke, and I'd finished the patterned yoke. And then the next step was to do short rows. So I did quite a few short rows last week. And so this is the front. There's only, I think, 2 rounds on top of the pattern. And I've already put in the markers for the sleeves and the front and the back. I just didn't get round to actually putting the stitches onto something. Yeah, so this is the front. Then the sleeves have, oh no, where's the sleeve? Oh, I think this is supposed to be the sleeve. So that has a lot more stockinette. And then I'm not quite sure if what I'm saying is right. No, this could be the middle of the back, I think. Maybe this is the middle of the back, then that would make this a sleeve. Oh no. Oh no. That's what I meant about I'm not quite as concentrated as I'm usually in. Don't listen to what I'm saying, just look at the nice pullover. By next week, I will hopefully have put the sleeve stitches aside, and then you can see what this is supposed to look like. I put it on a long cable and tried it on. It looks really nice. I'm very happy. And once I've split for the front and back, I'll knit a little bit onto the front and backs, and then I'll try and get the other end of the ball to knit the sleeve ribbings, and then I can use up the rest for the front and back and see how far I get. Yeah, but still enjoying that a lot. And then the other pullover I'm working on is the crochet one. That's there's not a lot that happened there. As I said, I was at home and I wanted to continue crocheting on it. And maybe you remember that last week I was at the point where I'd done these round thingies, and I added 2 rounds, and then I didn't have any more pattern. So I'd taken a picture of the chart for this out of my book, and the chart only showed 2 more rounds, and then there's a new chart on the next page, and I didn't take a photograph. The book was here. So that's all I did last week. But I hope I won't be stuck at home this week. And even if I could take the book home with me today. Now I'm really feeling a lot better, so I should be back in the shop at some point during this week. Okay, then we've come to the knit-alongs. And there I can quickly show you the banana sock I'm knitting on. This beautiful color. Just It's grown a little bit. Just a few more color stripes, a few more stockinette and reverse stockinette stripes. Yeah, this is a nice project to just do when I don't want to concentrate, when I don't want to think. I can just add a few rounds on this, and hopefully it'll be finished at some point. And the other knit along where we knit haramaki and reversible hats, I continued knitting on my hat. This requires even less thinking, but it does require a little more looking with the black yarn and the rib pattern. I kind of regretted that I decided to do the whole thing in rib. Maybe I should have just done the brim part in rib. And I've also decided I will knit a hat completely in stockinette at some point because of the way it's folded and because you can fold up the brim. I think it should be fine in just completely in stockinette. But yeah, that's a plan for someday. For now, I'll stick to my plan, do the whole black part in ribbing, and then if I do a stockinette hat, I can compare if one of them wears better or not. Yeah, this is the Hansa Farm merino sock yarn, very nice and soft. Yeah, it's just very black, so I don't always feel up to knitting this. Okay, so this is everything I knit and crochet last week. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!